What's going on, everybody? Eric Barassa here with my trusty makeshift blink-182 guitar. I call it the Thomas DeLonge model. And I want to show you how to play the song First Date. I know I've been doing a lot of Eric Johnson stuff, and some of you are going to be disappointed I'm not doing that this week. I have been working on the Eric Johnson mini lesson number 5, and I got number 6 to do as well. I just needed a break. So I want to show you one of my all-time, a really great song from one of my all-time favorite bands. From my number 1 favorite band of all time, right? You would think, this guy likes Eric Johnson, and here he is teaching Blink-182 songs. I'm sorry, I am who I am. I grew up with Blink, and I love what they do. Tom DeLonge, to me, is a master songwriter of just great pop melodies and great guitar riffs. And speaking of riffs, let's start with the very first riff to First Date. We are in the key of C major, and he's playing this. One of the things Tom DeLonge is really great at is writing riffs that don't sound all that cool by themselves, but you put a changing bass line underneath it, and it's incredible. So while he's playing this, Mark on the bass is playing this. Or that's a really common bass line for these guys. So let's dive into the theory a little bit. We've got C, D, F, and G are the root notes being played. In the key of C, this would be our 1 chord, so major. The D would technically be minor, and then the F and the G would be major chords. So what's really cool is this riff, that over the C chord is just a C arpeggio. It's E, C, G, C, G. And I encourage you to figure out the names of the notes of anything you play so you can start making the connection between why it fits. So that sounds great with that C in the bass. And then over the D, very cool. He actually plays the note D to start and then goes to C, and then there's a G added too. Okay, and then over the F chord, we go back to the original riff. And then over G, that is such a great ending because it uses a lot of chord tones from G. We've got D, C, G, B, ends on that B, which fits nice. So one thing I like to do is try to simulate playing the bass line and playing the riff together at the same time to really hear that relationship between the melody and the bass. Okay, let's try it. You can almost have this nice like acoustic finger picking arrangement of this. Okay, cool. So now in the verse, what happens is we just have C, G, and F played in the bass, and the guitar is doing nothing. You just resolve to a C, and then the bass plays. And you can do the picking pattern down, down, up, down, up. If you're playing bass. And then halfway through the verse, Tom comes in with boring by itself, but great over the bass line. Just adds a nice little bit of texture. He's just playing the note C, the root note of the key. And over this 1-5-4 chord progression, another really common thing, same as all the small things in several other of their songs. So then, when we get into the chorus, we have this chord progression. Now, here's what you need to understand about Blink and pop punk in general, is that the most common chord progression goes like this. This is your 1 chord, your root. Then we go to the 5 chord, and then we go to the 6, but we do them all as power chords, and then we go to the 4. This shape right here is that 1, 5, 6 chord progression you see all over the place. But you can mix these up in any order and you get a really cool sound. And almost all of pop punk and even pop music consists of those 4 chords. Sometimes as regular chords, sometimes as power chords. And in this case with Blink, it's usually as power chords. But then Tom DeLonge does what I like to call the Tom DeLonge chord, which is you take your root note and move it down a fret. And the strum pattern, you can do all down strokes, and then down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up for that part. Okay, great. And then the second half of the chorus, we're just going to do a full strum pattern, down, down, up, down, up, down, up for everything. And on your very last upstroke, that's where you're transitioning to the new chord, so you can lift your hand off. It sounds bad when you play it slow, but full speed. Sounds great, and it's common standard practice for when you're quickly changing between chords. So I wouldn't worry about doing the full strum pattern and then changing. Start changing while you're mid-strum, okay? And then we do the intro, the verse, and the chorus again, and then the bridge. I love the bridge. There's a rest, rest. So now our chord progression goes E5, which in this key would be an E minor if you fleshed it out. So we've got the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 5. So that would be down here. Now we have this shape happening. The 1, the 3, the 4, and the 5. This is another really great pattern that you can use. Palm mute, make sure you get the palm mute, and then Travis comes in with that totally awesome hi-hat thing, and then the octave slide. Wait. So the very first time you rest, make sure you start, because you're starting on an upbeat, start with an upstroke. Rest, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, rest. So you gotta mute those strings, and then we have a slide. So you go up, down, slide, up, down, or you can keep strumming. Either way is fine. You can keep strumming, or you can just do the slide. And then you go one more fret. What's cool is over the chords, right? You've got the C octave over the C chord, and then over the E minor, we're doing E to C. The C does not fit with the chord tone of an E minor chord, but the E does, and then the C is just kind of there as the root of the key constantly. And then over the F chord, we go to an F octave, and then over the G chord, we go to the 5th over the G, and I'm running out of time. We've got less than 2 minutes to do this because I'm running out of memory on my memory card. So that's the end of the lesson, and that's how you play First Date by Blink-182. I hope this has been beneficial for you, and I'm so excited. We just hit 300 subscribers. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'm sorry all you guys who started following because of the Saptrion and the Eric Johnson stuff. You're probably like, where's that stuff? I don't care about Blink-182, but sometimes I just gotta do something a little bit different. Don't worry, I'll get back into that stuff. But let me know in the comments below if you like this, if you want to see more of this, or you can yell at me and say, get back to the more advanced guitar stuff. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And as my great Aunt Matilda always says, don't count your guitars until that reverb payment clears.